Hello, Capricorn friends. Now we're going to drill down into the Capricorn specific horoscope with the foundation that I gave you in the intro as our nice bottom layer that I'm going to add to. This is for you if Capricorn is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Cap placement you're listening for. This segment is going to be part of your astrological picture. If you're a very late degree Cap friend, so birthdays around January 15th through the rest of the sign, or Cap degrees 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, stay on for the next segment for Aquarius because your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. And if you don't know your moon and rising sign, you can just do a search online for how to run a free birth chart. And if you have your birth info, you can put it in and find out your moon and rising. And then you can come back and you can go into more layers of your astrological story that's personalized. Okay, so this period of time between December into January, this is this beautiful story of this journey, this exploration of your unconscious mind, that dreamy landscape of all that is, of the cosmic consciousness that arises from within you, that is reflected all around you. And we do have a little bit more time of Mercury here, giving you that invitation for that deep dive into your psyche. What are your hidden agendas? What are your hidden talents? What are your hidden fears? What are your obvious fears? What are your deepest desires? How do you feel connected to others, to humanity, to ecosystems, to your family, to the ethereal realms? All of these are invitations at this time. And also, it's a question of optimization of your subconscious mind and your unconscious mind as being the power horse of manifestation. How do you activate that sleeping giant within? And this is a beautiful prelude to what comes afterwards. This line that is between the 12th house and the first house. This is the line of individuation, the place where from the cosmic soup we spring as individuals. And as we go through the wheel of the 12 houses and the 12 signs, we culminate into this point in the 12th house, which is what happens in the time before your birthday or before the sun moves over the point in your chart that you're watching for. So the sun crosses over your moon, or the sun crosses over your rising. This time in the Capricorn story is of you going deep to be able to optimize your creation powers so that as these assertive first house energies manifest, that you can move forward more confidently, more consciously, and more focused on what it is that you want to create. Sometimes what happens in the weeks before your birthday or the weeks before the point that the sun crosses over whatever Cap placement you're listening for, sometimes you get to see quite a bit of the things that you don't want. And these sometimes do not feel like gifts, but because you don't want them. But the gift is in being sure about what you don't want to help you manifest your wishes, your new moon wishes, your birthday wishes, your new moon intentions, your birthday or intentions from the sun crossing over whatever your Cap point is. You can utilize the power of those periods to really, really get honed in on what you want to create. And this is especially poignant at this time because since Mercury has been through its retrograde process, it's taken us back. Not only was it moving through the 12th house, giving you these questions, giving you this invitation, it also went retrograde, making you ask doubly sure, well, what about this? And go deeper into this and go deeper into the past. And, and so that gives you more oomph for moving forward now. So as of January 3rd, Mercury has regained full steam. It will join the Sun and Pallas Athena in the sign of Capricorn. Those of you who haven't had your birthdays yet, you'll have your birthdays. If you've, had your birthday already, happy birthday to you and to everyone who's about to have them. Or the sun will cross over your Cap point, and this will be your point of reinvention, of re-engagement with the external output from the all that is within you. So this is a very powerful time of really just getting clear on what it is that you want to create. Now, all of this is happening within the web of Mars retrograde. We do still have Jupiter retrograde. Both of these planets retrograde can interfere with your ambitions and your inspiration, but it can help you to focus on some places where you've been ignoring that really need the attention. And right now, with the Capricorn energy, the focus comes to things that are practical, things that have to be done, things that require discipline, things that are involved with business or employment, anything that has to do with father figures or you as an authority figure or parental figures, authority figures in general. And the most important thing is it's a time of redefinition with the things that you've gone through for the last month, for the last year, of what you want to take forward with you and what you want to leave behind. So this discernment process is what's going on now. Now, Cappies since 2008 have been getting put through the ringer. So I am a Cappy with you, not from the sun sign, but my moon is in Cap, my Venus is in Cap, my midheaven is in Cap. And from 2008, we've been like, what? Right? Pluto going through our sign, just blowing everything up. Birth, death, transformation, rebirth. I mean, I know that my life has been profoundly affected by births and deaths and transformation and rebirths. And I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, can say, yes, I'm with you. So now, as of actually the day that I'm recording this, I record these early. So November 20th, we're done. We're done with Pluto and Capricorn. So, this is another time of karmic clearing for us that really is just a really, really great relief, because Pluto moving through our sign, which rules responsibility, has really been a beast. And now Pluto is moving for the next 20 years through our finances. It already was affecting our finances because Capricorn rules these, structures, these business structures and these systems. So now we have a deeper layer of this, but at least it's not in the sign that we have our placements, unless you have Aquarius placements, because then you will have it hit at some point. The later degree placements, it will be maybe 20 years from now before that happens. But, either way, Pluto is telling us grow or die in our money sector. Now, a lot of times this grow or die is actually figurative. But for some people, growing their finances is actually a matter of survival. But whatever the impetus, this is your Plutonian personal atomic generator of energy is going to help you completely redo your personal way with money. So that's the long-term story, and we'll be talking about this for 20 years. But I want to talk more about the shorter-term story, which is Venus is there. The moon is there on January 29th. It will be back in, the moon will be back in Aquarius. That will be the new moon at 10 degrees of Aquarius. So a new moon in our money sector, Venus in our money sector, Ceres in our money sector. The sun will get there. And this is a lot of energy. The sun is elucidating. Venus is bringing blessings and possibly financial boosts. The moon is bringing our emotional focus. Ceres is a ruler of the second house. And Ceres, that shape that looks like a question mark, it's actually the thing that's used to cut wheat. So it's all about the harvest, and it's all about the sustenance. So this month, you're asking the questions: what gives you sustenance? And how can you have more of that? Bigger question is, how can you do this creation of sustenance in unconventional ways while still holding to the tradition and the discipline and the structures that Capricorn is? Capricorn is the bringer of form. It rules the skeleton in the body. If we didn't have a skeleton, we would be a loose sack of fluids and flesh piled on the floor. So a lot of people resist Saturn. They really just do not want to have discipline. They don't want to have sternness or authority or rules or laws. And, I think Capricorns understand this a little bit differently, because we really know instinctively that without a skeleton, there's no life and there's no movement. So the idea here is to keep a firm, healthy skeleton on which you can step into new, fresh ideas, innovation, dive deeper into your communities and your groups, and see how engaging with these people in these groups can fuel your sustenance and possibly even help you fuel their sustenance. So, it's very sustenance-based time for Cappies, and it's very much back to basics. Are you making more money than you spend, or are you spending more money than you make? Questions about, your earnings and your debt and your budget and your value as a worker and your gifts. All of those things are coming up for you to evaluate. And Pallas Athena is going to, in Capricorn, is going to be helping you have some strategy around that. Bare minimum, you can have some financial boosts. And at the maximum, you can be letting Pluto start to completely redo your financial consciousness to lift you octaves beyond your current financial experience. So we got a pretty wide spectrum of manifestation there. Okay, so what else is going on? Venus is going to move from Aquarius into Pisces. It will join long-term transits Saturn and Neptune there to accentuate our third house of communication, Gemini-ruled third house. Adding to this story of expansion of our communication is Jupiter moving through the sign of Gemini. That's from May 2024 to June 2025. So there's a long-term story of the expansion of our communication. There's a short-term story of the monetization of our communication. And there is a long-term story of the spiritualizing of our communication. And there's a long-term story of the structure and the discipline of our communication. So the more effective we can be with how we communicate, that's the topic that wants to come up for the long term from Saturn. And in the short term, we may just make some money through our communication efforts, which is fun. Or we may be involved with siblings or aunts or uncles or other family members with Venus, bringing money involving something for them. Now, something interesting to note before we leave the Venus topic. Venus, I always think of as my Grandma Marge, one of my Italian relatives, I always like to give a nice visual of Grandma Marge. For whatever reason, she always seemed shorter than me. I understand now that a lot of my Italian relatives were like 4'10", which is maybe why even as a child I was taller than most of them. But she would always grab, be reaching up to my face, like I was taller than her even as a kid. And she would kiss me on the face and give me a meatball and give me some money and tell me how great I was and take me into her comfy house. So think about Venus, or think about my Grandma Marge whenever you think about Venus. So my Grandma Marge is moving through your house of communication and relatives. So sustenance, compliments, acknowledgement, food, nurturance, coming through, through our taking the time to communicate with other people. So a lot of the answers and things that we need are going to come through taking that time to connect with other people and taking time to make them feel heard and for us to be heard. Something else important about Venus, my Grandma Marge doing this whole thing, is that once Venus moves from Pisces, it will get through 10 degrees of Aries into our fourth house of home and family. And then it will retrograde back into Pisces. So the pre-shadow retrograde transit starts at the end of January for Venus. We'll go into this more as we get deeper into it and as we get into the retrograde. But what we need to know for now is that Venus in Pisces and Venus in our third house is not going to be as short-term a thing as it tends to be. It's going to be a long-term thing because, of this retrograde. And so we're really, really, really thinking about how we can add art, Pisces, to our communication, how we can add grace and forgiveness to our communication, how we can add spirituality and really just connection with the divine and tolerance and understanding to our communication, and how we can extend that to our home and family. That's going to be the storyline of the months to come. So Jupiter is moving through our sixth house of health, hopefully improving the health of many Cappies. And now that it's in retrograde, either you may feel like you've lost its blessings, or things are starting to finally gel, or progress that was being made might feel like it's slowing down. But either way, Jupiter is trying to build the very strong skyscraper of your vibrant health. And right now it's in retrograde, checking the under the ground part for its future ascension. Okay, so when they build a skyscraper, the higher the skyscraper is going to go, the deeper they have to dig for the counterbalance of the skyscraper. So when Jupiter builds skyscrapers as tall and high as possible, and the retrograde time is when the checks are done to see if the foundation has been laid for the type of expansion that you want to have with your health, with your business, with your pets and animals, with your, your day-to-day experience, with your systems, with your organization. So if things seem like they're going backwards, it's just because there are certain I's that have to be dotted and T's that have to be crossed, so that in February, when it moves forward, it can really, really build very quickly. And that's something that if you've ever watched a building be built, you notice they spend a lot of time in the foundation. Like, what are they doing down there? Why is it taking so long? Then all of a sudden you come back and in a day, this huge structure is built. I mean, not a skyscraper in a day, but certainly a house. Sometimes you can come back in a day or two, and after working on the foundation for weeks, a house could pop up very, very quickly. And that's what's going on. So you're not really going backwards for good. You're going backwards just temporarily so that you can blaze forward soon. Topic of home and family is active for the long term. Chiron, Eris is there. We've got a shorter term transit of Hygeia activating home and family and housing. And then in the days around January 13th, we have a 24-degree full moon in Cancer opposing our sign. Fullness, completion, fruition, drama coming to housing or home or family, for better or worse. I've seen the most fabulous family gatherings and experiences happen on a full moon. And I've seen a lot of drama or things be elucidated on a full moon. Could be a little bit of both. The fact that this is opposing our Capricorn energy and, means we'll probably be pulled a little bit through home and work, our inner world, our outer world, our me versus we. We'll be seeing those sort of, pulls in different directions. The Aries Libra eclipse cycle that started in 2023 is going to be ending now in the first half of 2025, this 2-year story of redoing our me versus we, which is developing our autonomy stronger while helping us to show up for ourselves and our relationships even more, working both of those ends of the duality. So we're shuffling around energy with our me versus we again. And now that we're back in eclipse season, we'll start to see news and information come through with, in those circumstances in our lives. Now, for everybody, that's me versus we. But for Cappies, this is home versus work. That's where your Aries Libra polarity is. So trying to reshuffle, taking energy from work, putting it into home, taking energy from home, putting it into work, taking energy from your inner world, putting it into your public life, taking focus from your public life and putting it into your inner world. All of this shuffling around is basically what happens. So you'll see these storylines of this going on, changing the energy in your work, changing the energy at home. Things are in a shuffle right now. So for the second half of January, all of February, very, very strong in March and April, and fading into May, there are going to be a lot of changes, and there'll be a final conclusion to some of the storylines that started at the beginning of 2023. So you will see that happening. Now, the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle is activating our 3rd and 9th house sectors. This is the Sagittarius versus Gemini energy. And we already talked a lot about having this 3rd house accentuated from these other forces, Venus being there, Saturn, Neptune, the Venus retrograde will be partly there. But this Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle that started in 2024 and will go into 2027 is really restructuring how we take in information and put it out. So many Cappies may be starting to re-educate themselves for a new vocation, or for an expansion in their current vocation, or for more opportunities in their current lines of work. And so teaching and learning international connections, different languages, different cultures may be the future of what you do with the things that you learn, the things that you teach, and the way that you are at home and with, with work. If you resonate with my work, please like, subscribe, click the bell so that I go into your feed, and enable notifications. I will be posting more in the upcoming time, possibly even weekly, so you don't want to miss anything. Capricorn friends who are late degree, I suggest you additionally stay on for the Aquarius report. And the rest of you, if you know your moon and your rising, you can watch that. or you can run how to run a free birth chart, do a search for that, and then run your birth chart, and then come back and look at the different layers of your bigger astrological picture. If you love my content and you don't want to miss anything that I post and you want all of my content early, then go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in there, click receive, you'll get a welcome letter, and in the welcome letter you'll get VIP access to my eclipse resource page, my retrograde resource page, my zodiac health tips, my 28-day very powerful virtual coaching program, and you'll get weekly astrology updates with all of the information that can help you make the most of the starry transits, including 1 month early, my monthly written star report that has the sweet and salty dates. These are the dates to be most awareful and careful of, and the dates to celebrate the most and plan your important things. And you get all of that as part of my VIP. Plus, podcast menus, and I know for sure YouTube don't always notify you whenever I post new content, even if you're subscribed, even if you click the bell, even if you enable notifications. So if you want to be sure that you don't miss anything from me, then the best way to do that is to be part of this VIP group, because I will let you know as soon as I have anything posted, and you will get early access to all of it. I also sometimes have private promos for my VIP group that the public never sees. And if you want to study astrology with me, go to www.beastropro.com, beastropro.com, to see my astrology certification course. If you want to learn astrology to help yourself and your friends, or you want to earn money, that is my specialty. I can tell you how to make your astrology practice work and earn money from your love of the stars. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.